What I have here is one of the most disgustingly consistent PvP weapon out there, and it's perfect for beginners and veterans alike, and let me show you why. Welcome to another episode of Weapon Review, and for today's episode we're gonna be reviewing the One-Hand Spear. If I could only describe One-Hand Spear in a single word, it would be simple. The One-Hand Spear is simple but deadly. Deadlier than your silent farts. You pick it up, you nail the basics, and it performs well, even if you aren't one. It is straightforward, light poke, controlled aggression, constant pressure, and that alone makes it a monster in solo PvP. You're not relying on a massive one-shot combo or praying for your enemies to disconnect. Instead, One-Hand Spear wins fights through proper distancing and constant pressure. You're always poking, always forcing your actions. You're like those toxic people that always test their partners hoping they make a mistake. And when they do, boom! It's because you don't love me enough. Stop it, alright? Stop it. In short, you're gonna be annoying, and enemies will be annoyed. And they will be excited to kill you. Because of that, they will make mistakes. And here's the crazy part. Most melee weapons need their big moment, right? Spear doesn't. It wins fight in the tiny moments. Enemies won't even notice you're winning. Spear poke enemies like mosquitoes. But boy, these mosquitoes have malaria in it. And your enemies are people from third world countries. And it's all thanks to its abilities. In PvE, the One-Hand Spear is surprisingly decent. Not top tier, but definitely workable. The first W makes it easier. The AoE Q with low cooldown gives you okay damage for mobs, and the E with full stacks deals a good amount of AoE burst. It's not as effective as Longbow, Nature Staff, and Blood Moon, but it's not half bad as well. Personally, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. Reliable, safe, great for casual farming. But if you are thinking of fame farming, this might not be for you. But PvE isn't the reason you pick this weapon up. Because when it comes to PvP, One-Hand Spear becomes a different beast. To understand it, in a simple analogy, it's like Charmander versus Charizard, right? Bruce Banner versus Hulk, Sedan versus a tank, you versus that Asian dude who seems to be better at everything. You get the analogy, right? Now, solo PvP or even small scales is where this weapon shines, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'll explain every single abilities and how is it very useful in solo PvP and small scales. So first, we have a spear, right? Pardon me being naked. I just woke up. Clearly not. I forgot. Pardon my thongs. But, for the Q, lunging strike is your go-to when you're doing PvP. This is useless. Basically useless in this build or in solo spear. I hate this Q. I mean, they use it in Trinity Spear, but I've never even used that one. So, you have the Q. And one of the most unique aspect of the spear is that W is usable on almost every scenario in PvP, right? So, first we have the Forest of Spears. Good for PvE, also good for PvP. Extra burst damage for you, especially if your enemies doesn't have any mobility. Like, for example, those one-shot combos crossbow. When they just cast, you just W. And if they're hard on melee as well, you just W this one, choose this one. Next, we have Inner Focus, additional movement speed. I think this is one of the most, among all the W abilities, this is one of the most less used, or I don't find this that good compared to other abilities as well. And next, we have one of the most OP skills or ability in Albion Online, the Cripple. Why is it OP? Only in PvP though. Because when you are playing another enemy, you are fighting them, one of the best way to deny your ability or your damage is when they do sprint. And this actually cancels it. You don't have any purge. You don't have to purge you don't have to wear anything that purges their boots or their movement speed. Just use this. And that alone is a very good way because you could do more with your helmet options rather than just choosing purge, because you know that you could actually just purge their W using your ability. I mean, their sprint or their F ability using just your W. So swords would actually be pretty good prey to actually prey on, because the Q of the swords gives you stocks, and those stocks gives you additional movement speed, and if you have any additional movement speed, it purges it and it gives you bonus damage and bonus move speed as well. Oh, they removed the bonus damage. Ah, but gives you bonus move speed. That's good. Next, we have the deflecting spin. These are good for those weapons that have burst. Again, those one-shots crossbow. Fire stuffs. These are very good. That could deal a lot of damage because it reflects 100% of damage and gives you a damage resistance of 150. But beware because this is a channel time, so you could be cancelled by stance or anything that could cancel you, like forced movement or something. Next, we have Impaler. This is good if you're fighting against a enemy that kind of keeps its distance. This is also good for kiting and for catching enemies. Just think of it as a longer range fire association. Additional damage, but for a more versatile mobility type of gameplay you will use. And lastly, the Harpoon. It's good because it can root your enemy, and this is used to catch those annoying enemies that have a lot of kite potential. For example, frost staffs, bows. You could catch them easily with this one, and if you have spirit charges, you could actually easily root them, make them stay in place, and just boom. So spirit charges are the buff that you get when you use your Q. So right there, have 3 spirit charges. So 3 spirit charges is equals to 3 seconds root. Very OP if you ask me. But you have to aim properly with this one, and it's kind of hard to aim. So for your last ability, the Reckless Charge, this is your main burst, or the only burst that you have actually. Because if you have 3 spirit charges, it deals 612 damage, and that alone is a very big factor when you're having PvP. So those are the abilities of spears, and those are the things that makes it effective in solo PvP. So for stable cooldowns and a lot of flexibility in playstyle, I will rate this one 4.3/5 when it comes to PvP without question. Just like any other weapon, it's not perfect. It have its strength and weaknesses, and those weaknesses will show up against good players. So for its strengths and weaknesses, let's start with its strengths, right? The biggest strength of one-hand spear is how balanced and forgiving it is. You can commit a mistake in your place, in your plan, and you can still salvage and manage to win a fight. Unlike other weapons, for example, such as daggers. Only example daggers because I only play daggers. If you commit a mistake in daggers, you're pretty much doomed. But that's not the case in one-hand spear. It is mobile. It delivers consistent damage. It has a lot of utility in it. Just like I explained, the W abilities are perfect for every situation. You have the deflect, the purge, the additional damage, and the catch. The chase potential, the disengage options, all while being beginner friendly. Honestly, it's not the hardest weapon to play. You never feel forced into one playstyle. You can poke, you can commit, you can disengage. Completely up to you. You cannot even fight if you want. And its ability to counter swords users or any users that have bonus movement speed is a massive bonus as well. The spear deletes their momentum and it purges their stacks for the swords. And if they have bonus movement speed, you could just take that movement speed to yourself, additional 50 movement speed, and escape or chase them. That's how good it is. But for its weaknesses, it's not perfect as it should be. It is extremely weak against mobile range players. They can kite you. Almost every melee weapon are weak against those anyways. You cannot burst your enemy, but it is very strong anyways. So fights can drag out, and the more the fight drags out, the more chances that you will lose. But once you have the control of the momentum, you can negate it as well. In PvE, it's not bad. It's okay. It's mid, It's like that one person that you won't particularly want, but you won't mind being with them. But there are better options when it comes to PvE. And yes, I'm not just talking about PvE. Sometimes it feels too honest, consistent, yes. It's simple, and it might be a strength, but it also just a weakness because it lacks the wow aspect of other weapons in short. It is too consistent that it becomes plain or boring. And you play the game to have fun, and if you have, but if you are not having fun using this weapon because it's plain and boring, then what's the point, right? But here's the kicker in that one. It is fun to unalive enemies, so yeah, it kinda negates the boring part. So after all that, where does one-hand spear actually land in the current solo PvP meta? Honestly, I don't think it's on a very high list when it comes to meta weapons. And It is for a good reason, that is. It's not a bad thing that it's not in the meta. It is so consistent to the point that it is a given that it would perform well. And those meta weapons are like trends, right? They come and go. They come and go. Like Proling, like all those bloodletter metas. I don't see a situation in which they nerf this weapon to the point that it will be irrelevant. But I don't see also a situation where they buff this weapon that it would actually make it to the top list. So it's in the perfect spot of so consistent to the point that you don't expect it to underperform and you don't expect it to overperform, like running the mists or certain contents. And it's a good thing, right? So for personal rating, as I've said, PvE, I would rate this one a 3.5. For PvP, a 4.3. Overall, a 3.9 weapon, but I'll be generous, a 4 out of 5 weapon. It's reliable, flexible, and extremely beginner-friendly. No matchup feels unwinnable unless you misplay a lot. Here's the truth. One-hand spear doesn't give you super duper insane damage. It gives you control and consistency. And in Albion Online, the player who controls the fight consistently usually wins it. If you want a weapon that is reliable and rewards good fundamentals without demanding insane skills, One-Hand Spear is perfect for you. Solid in PvE, a beast in PvP, and one of the most consistent weapons in the entire game. It's not the most fun weapon. Personally, I just don't enjoy the weapon as much as other weapons. It's on the same tier for me as swords. It's good, but it's not something that I would consistently play. It's on this, like bread. Bread are good, man, but you don't crave bread every now and then. You would rather eat steak, right? I'm not saying that it's on the bread level, but it's in that kind of analogy that there are better weapons, more fun weapons, and sometimes the more complicated the weapon is, the more fun it is, and this is just simple, too simple. Fun weapon needs a little bit of complication as well. Remember, every action you make has a ripple, so that's why don't forget to poke the woke people. And that's it for this video. I do apologize, I haven't uploaded a lot in the recent months, and I'm hoping that would change. I will try my best to actually upload a lot of content. It's just I haven't played Albion in quite a long time. Maybe over 3 months or 4 months time. I haven't played it properly. And yeah, I hope you did enjoy this video. And if you did, comment down below. What do you think of the weapon spear? Do you agree with that I said, or do you disagree? Comment down below. And I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Ciao, ciao.